So you've packed away some of those instant mashed potatoes. I love those things. They're probably one of my favorite storage foods. Uh, some ways I kind of like to joke with people, oh, I can't wait till doomsday because that way I can open up my stash. No, I dig in all the time to my instant mashed potatoes. I love to get them in bulk. The stuff I have, I've got it from bulk on this, what I'm going to be using. That you can get them from all kinds of different places. A lot of times it's very similar to a mixture, but I'll demonstrate some of those differences as well on how to make your mashed potatoes just the way you like them. That's one of the things that I love about instant is you can make them right the way you like them. So this time I'm going to be making your instant mashed potatoes right there. You can see them in there, those potato flakes. I love to get them in bulk. They can be purchased pretty good prices, and they're really easy to make if you have hot water. The key thing is to get hot water. I run a little teapot just for making stuff like this, making hot chocolate. Not a tea drinker or a coffee drinker, but it also makes a great cleaning agent too. If you are out of cleaners and you need to clean something, hot water will not only kill a lot of things, but it will also uh, it will also uh, it'll also clean stuff up pretty good. Help you get rid of all that grime that might be sticking out of something. So that's something to consider too. In this case, I've got hot water now. I got butter in here. The only reason why this is going to work like this is because this is a refrigerated butter. It's kind of a cheat because in a survival situation, you might not have butter. You might not have salt and sour cream and pepper. I love this white pepper stuff. Um, you may or may not have some of that stuff. I know I don't plan on having sour cream once I run out of it. And if you're going to make this with butter powder or something like that, if you don't have refrigeration and you can't make that butter solid, then add the butter afterwards. But if it's cold and it's in that solid state, you can do it like this. But if it's in a liquid state, it's going to kind of ruin what you're doing here. Now, for the potato mix, I'm going to put roughly half the size of the bowl that I want. So if I want this to be, double whatever that is in the way of my potatoes, I want to get double that amount. That's roughly what they're going to do. They're going to expand about twice their size. And oatmeal would be made in this very similar way. The instant oatmeal is made almost identical to this process, except for minus the butter and the sour cream and the salt and the pepper. But as far as the mixing of the cold powder substance and your hot water, they both require hot water. I would not attempt to run this process if I don't have hot water. Hot is a key. Cold water just doesn't work all that well. It doesn't activate things the way it needs to. And I'm going to make it just a little bit liquidy. Now, I do like my potatoes super thick. And that means I'm just going to keep adding water until I can get I'm going to do this like as if it's a rich mixture. If you haven't seen my video on mixtures, you want to go back and watch it. But I'm just going to put enough on in there, and then I need to not just mix it though, but wait until it has expanded. That's one of the key things that I've got to do with this. I need to wait till it's expanded and it's kind of cooked, which just takes a couple minutes. Now I think I need just a tad bit more water, but part of the reason why I put the butter in there first is because it's gonna melt that butter. If you're dealing with like butter powder where you mixed it as a liquid or it's already pre-cooked butter, then you don't need to cook it either, and so this isn't necessary. And it will ruin your potatoes to have them on the potatoes without the water first. So you really need to have the potatoes complete before the butter starts really trying to get in there. And see, I've still got some flaking in there over here on this side. Some of this stuff is still dry flakes, but I'm just going to make sure it all gets moisted in there. All gets perfectly moist until finally I don't have any more flakes. And I mix that butter in real good. And once it's all, even during this process here, I can even throw in my salt. It was probably a bit of salt, actually. Fortunately, I like salt pretty well. But I can throw in my salt. I can throw in some pepper. They can actually be done even before you add the water. White pepper, I love that stuff. You can use black pepper for it as well. Whatever other seasoning you like. You might like Chinese five spice, or there's all kinds of ways to season these things. Just find out what you like and throw it in there. But I'm just going to mix this thing up. See, it's super buttery. It's kind of got that yellow color to it, which means here it's got that super buttery sense. And then I'm going to take, once I've gotten it done, I don't want to add, sour cream is not something I really want to add until I get this thing totally done. I want to make sure this is sat. I don't want to have it sit so long it gets cold, but I want to make sure that water has had a chance to totally act on things, because that sour cream is going to be cold. And if I add that sour cream, it does make a world of difference. I love sour cream, and I like lots of it. But I would add that sour cream afterwards, as probably by now I can probably add the sour cream to it. And probably just a couple spoonfuls on a bowl like this. You can really use, a fair amount. And it's up to you if you want to just, eat it or mash it on in there and really mix it up. But this is a very fine meal. I absolutely love mashed potatoes. It's probably my second favorite food. So, but that's basically how they're done. Once they get hot, then you can mix in the sour cream, throw it on top, whatever. But I wouldn't touch anything cold to it like that until that hot water's had a chance to activate anything else in there. So yeah, that hot water is key. Make sure you got some time for that. This also works the similar process, minus the added ingredients. It's very good for instant oatmeal. One other quick note here on these mashed potatoes. The hot water should be, usually the hotter the better. You could probably even cook them with steam. But definitely, if you've got really hot tap water, that might work. I did have a spot once where I could really use some super hot tap water. But generally you want more than just the hot water side of the faucet. You do generally want to get, cook it in a pan, get it hot. And yeah, I mean, if it becomes steam, that works too. You can also use steam. Thank you for watching.